Welcome back to the North American LCS and our next game of the day, Team Solo Mid versus Team Coast. And we can't forget that Coast is one of only 3 teams to actually beat TSM this year, and the only team from the bottom 5 to pull off such an upset.
Yeah, and to climb out of 6th place and avoid facing CLG in the first round of the playoffs, Coast have to be looking at this game as a place to pick up a win. We saw yesterday that they went back to their comfortable split push and poke strategy. They were looking good, but ultimately Curse made some hard engages and were able to take the win. If Coast go back to that same tactic again, though, TSM knows how to deal with it already, and they excel at hard engaged team fighting compositions.
Yeah, we definitely saw TSM flipping the script yesterday, actually, in their game against Evil Geniuses. Dyrus played Sin, and Bjergsen picked up Syndra, both the first-time picks for them this year in the LCS.
Though we don't see Dyrus having much of an impact the way that we've seen, Inox and Zion taking charge with the Blind Monk. TheOddOne also seemed to be having a hard time coordinating with the rest of the team as Pantheon. There were several instances where his Skyfalls were just not timed quite well, and the positioning was a little bit off.
Yeah, but no surprise, the crowd's still behind them very much here.
Yeah.
Gonna check out the starting lineups. On the blue side is Team Solo Mid, and pretty much everyone here knows it already, but Dyrus in the top lane, TheOddOne in the jungle, Bjergsen in mid, WildTurtle and AD carry, Xpecial on support.
And on the red side, it's Coast. Up top, ZionSpartan. Jungle, Nintendude. Mid, Shiptur. AD carry, WizFujiiN. And support is Daydreamin.
So we're gonna get ourselves the game shortly, but the thing is to sort of think about is, I think back to Coast's actual last game, where they did lose to Curse. It was the Vi Yasuo that chopped them up, and I'm like, okay, so if you're Coast and you know you're going to play this sort of strategy, right? You know you're going to go for split push and poke.
You ban Vi?
You got, and I think that, but I'm like, how many things do you have to actually ban to secure yourself the poke? Because it's like, okay, you can try to ban Vi and Pantheon.
I don't think you have to ban Pantheon. So here's my take on Pantheon.
Okay.
I love Pantheon. However, if you're relying on Pantheon for your hard engage, then the other team can pick very high impact skill shots, which you can land before Pantheon hits the ground. One of the few things that you can easily take advantage of a Pantheon gank, if you see the big circle coming, you throw your skill shot right at the center before he even lands, it will still register as a hit before he even shows up there. It's the same reason how he can start casting his W before he lands, and he'll still jump to you even if you get out of range.
Yeah. I've seen people like, the circle comes out and they're like Caitlyn trap.
Yeah, so you jump down as Pantheon, and they know exactly where you're going. So they could set out traps, they could set up bindings, they can do all kinds of terrible things to where you're going to land, and it's just a bad feeling. That's why I kind of have gone away from that champion.
Okay.
Because you look really dumb, too, when you jump in there and you just, oh, I'm on a trap and I'm binded. I don't have any life either because I built all damage.
I mean, he always wanted to be a baker. Why wouldn't you jump on top of a cupcake? It's just, he's sad that Caitlyn makes better treats than he does.
So a few people will get that because they know both the Pantheon joke as well as the cupcake. But for those people, it's definitely worth it. Good job, Freak.
Yes, there we go. You just say enough jokes, eventually some of them are funny to people.
Oh my God, the spectator is getting out of control here. Secret messages. They're sending them to him right before pick bans?
He was talking to the Korean spectator. This is our spectator.
Out of his seat.
Oh man, doesn't even need it. He's just really high up, actually. He's just lifted all the way, wants to get kind of look down to the monitor.
Good posture is very important. So is banning Kazakhs. So
yes, it is.
Kazakhs down. Nidalee and Lulu, very happy with those bans. We won't be seeing the very annoying poke of Nidalee coming in. I'm sure Coast are not happy with that, though. They've had a lot of success with Shifter on that Nidalee.
Yeah, as well as ZionSpartan's Elise in here. TSM not saying, we'll first pick it away from you, but they're going to remove that option from Zion. I wonder if a Renekton ban comes through in a Jax pickup. We have not seen Zion play Jax in a very long time. And he just stopped pulling bans, stopped playing it. I'm surprised to see a successful champion like that disappear.
Yeah, and TSM approach the pick bans pretty much the same all the time when they play teams like Coast and teams in the lower side of the brackets. They just span out what the team was successful with last. They're like, okay, well, last time we saw Zion with Lucian, it did pretty well, ban that out. Nidalee, he did well on that as well, ban that out. Take away the Zed, don't want Shifter making plays, and they leave Jax, that's kind of in the past for them. But yeah, it's a very real possibility if Coast still want to go with their split pushing. However, like I said, TSM are a very, very good team for team fighting and hard engaged compositions. I don't know if a split push and poke will be successful against them.
Well, we'll see. I mean, TSM are definitely the big team fighting group. We'll see what they look for in this one. Taking their time with the first pick. Renekton is my first gut check, where Dyrus wants to dominate the lane. Not only is it a good champion for him, but it'll shut down Zion in any of the 1v1s he goes into.
That's an interesting little point.
There's a lot of...
About the top lane, you know, how all these top laners, even with, you know, we're getting up there in the patches. The patches are still coming out, yet some of the top laners are still playing the older go-to picks of Renekton, Shyvana, Trundle.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new picks that are really strong. We just saw Jace. I am a big fan of the champion because he can beat up people that are melee. He gets a good advantage early. He can start a Doran's Blade. He's got range. He can knock you back if you try to engage on him. And he also has gate. Yes, you know, a long time ago, the cooldown was increased on gate, but it's still great for poke comps. It's great disengage. It's utility later in the game. It's all around pretty good champion for the top lane.
I'm waiting to see Kennen come back as well. I know Riv is too.
Yeah.
At some point, that guy's
Kennen especially.
Show back up.
There's so many more options. I'm glad that we've kind of gotten past the point where we're locked into everyone with the 3 bruisers.
Yeah. Of course, the Rengar rework hit 4.5, so maybe we'll see him in about a month.
All right, don't get ahead of yourself.
Hey, man.
We're on the 4.4 right now.
We're talking about the future, okay? Lucian, Evelynn picked up here for Team Coast. WizFujiiN's really go-to AD carry. Nintendude with Kha'Zix off the table says, Eve.
Eve, pretty popular jungler right now. I guess, you know, Eve, Kha'Zix, and Vi are very, very popular at the moment.
Yeah.
TheOddOne, even with Elise being nerfed. Still very happy to go back to her, as many others have been.
You know, this is interesting. TSM just allowed themselves to get counterpicked in both mid and top right here. They picked Shyvana pretty early on in the rotation. It gives Zion room to pick something to beat it.
And they're going to have to pick mid before the last pick of Coast. Is where you're going with that. So yeah, 2 solo lane counter picks, a possibility for Coast here. I don't feel like Dyrus is going to be surprised by anything that Zion pulls out, though. Yeah, no surprise there.
So I want to see this, though, because I think solo mid made a good choice in rushing the Thresh pick here, because I think Thresh works well against Leona. You can stop the Zenith Blade engages, or Zenith Blade, depending on who's talking about it, with Flay. And of course, I mean, talking about good Thresh players, you got Xpecial, all-star support last year. Amazing player overall. He's going to get this champion here. WildTurtle looks to Jinx, and Bjergsen Ziggs is just a good, safe pick.
Yeah, the whole team just feels kind of safe for TSM right now. Very, very standard set of champions for TSM. They've all played these champions before. Comfortable on each of them. This is pre-rework Gragas. No talking about that 4.5.
Nope.
So yeah, so they still do have the barrel combos they can come out with. High burst potential. Still interested to see. I don't think Coast are going for a 4-man split. They're just going to use Zion as that solo lane Jax, try and get him beefy, and then go for team fights.
Yeah. We'll see what the pick ends up being for Coast's mid laner here. We do see Zion, Jax. We're going to see Eve running around looking for some extra special ganks.
All right.
Well, Ahri was the champion that Coast beat TSM with. And they are going to go for it here. So Shiptur, actually, this was the matchup I think he was in, where Shiptur's actually beating up Bjergsen in the one-on-one. Ahri versus Gragas.
Yeah, Bjergsen was not happy after that Gragas game. We'll see if he can redeem himself, because he doesn't have very many more Gragas games to play before the rework does come in. So this will be one of the last chances. And as I said, TSM's team looks very standard TSM. Same thing for Coast here. Pretty much classic picks for both of these teams. Zion's going to be on Jax, Shiptur on Ahri. I do like this matchup. However, traditionally, TSM has the edge. So if we're going with traditional champions, then again, TSM looking pretty good coming into this one.
Well, Coast going to have to rely on their wheelhouse of get your solo lanes fed, make them carry super hard, and make it happen. The one thing I want to point out, though, is when Zion does well on Jax, because he bullies his lane opponent, but now that everyone's running teleport top lane, you have less ability to push someone down. There's less kill threat.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a little bit more farm.
It's interesting because they're both running teleport here.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Zion last second change.
He did. Okay.
Over to Ignite. So Zion has switched it. He's looking for kill on Dyrus. He's not going to match the teleport. I don't know, man. Teleport right now is so good with the teleporting to towers, reducing it.
Yeah. I think TPing to a turret has less cooldown than Ignite. I think by 10 seconds.
If it's reduced by 100, then
200 versus 210.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. And that was the teams load into the Rift. Let's take a look at the voting from LOLesports.com. 92% of you think that TSM is going to come out on top. Not surprised by those odds, but underdog wins do happen.
Yeah. Daydreamin getting in on the TSM chant. Everybody on coast. Yeah, TSM. Oh, wait. Yeah, I mean us, right? Coast. But yeah, this game, definitely going to be watching the jungles because junglers are how the solo lanes are going to, it's going to tell how the solo lanes are going to perform.
Yeah.
And Nintendude on Evelynn has a very good chance of actually snowballing one of these solo lanes. So we'll have to see if TheOddOne and the rest of TSM can coordinate to get vision inside of Coast Jungle at the small camps. Can they keep track of this Evelynn? Will they have defensive pink wards up towards the mid game? Those are the two things that they'll be looking to do. Cloud9 is so good at getting deep wards into the enemy jungle when they face Evelynn, getting defensive pink wards and picking her off. Will TSM be able to do the same? I mean, they practice a lot against Cloud9, but they do not have the same coordination. And it doesn't seem like they have the same conversation when it comes to jungle strategy that Cloud9 do.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if TSM can learn a thing or two as they get themselves into playoffs, of course. Now's kind of the time to put everything down, see just how strong you really are, and say, look, you want to win the spring split, you want to get first place in the playoffs, go to the All-Star. And hey, every team you face is a good way to test yourself and say, did we play this perfectly? What do we see go wrong? We'll see this. Battle lines drawn so far. Zion, of course, does have Ignite, as you point out. Doran's Blade for him, Doran's Shield for Dyrus. Dyrus kind of the epitome of a consistent top laner here in North America. We'll see if Zion can bully him out.
Yeah, that is a little bit interesting. A lot of people right after the Doran Shield nerf switched over to Cloth 5, but Dyrus has returned to the Doran Shield. It does look like they won't be meeting each other as their 2-versus-1 swaps are coming in.
This is interesting to me, because I remember back when Jax was a really popular pick last season, there was some discussion around Jax in 1v2s and whatnot, where, well, he needs items to scale 1v2ing him is a really good choice because you'll knock him down. Ooh, hold on, TSM looking to stop this buff attempt. Look at that, Nintendude. Forced away, started on the greedy side of the jungle. Tried to start with a solo lane, didn't pay off.
Yeah, they are the ones who lane swap, and they still start their jungle on the bottom side. They were hoping that they could burn this golem down before the dual lane from TSM come to check. However, TSM are on the ball, immediately come for the invade to see what's up, and they do put Nintendude a little bit behind. Zion's going to be buddy jungling with him, though.
Yeah, not
Meanwhile,
much XP, though.
Yeah, look at the opposite side, though. Dyrus on Shyvana can take care of his own camps because he has decent AoE himself, and TheOddOne has actually been jungling bottom side jungle. So a little bit of advantage early on from TSM. And I have to again question, Coast doing the lane swap, they have Evelynn. Oftentimes you lane swap against Evelynn so you can get vision of her.
Yeah.
But they're the ones who pull it off, and we'll have to see how it plays out. Will Nintendude actually be able to make plays anyway?
Well, you know, last Coast game we saw, they had sent ZionSpartan to try to steal the blue buff by himself, walk by a ward, give away first blood. Level 1s right now for Coast looking a little bit shaky.
And those...
Nintendude not spotted, though. Uh-oh. He's going to run into a Dyrus.
He's level 3 to level 1 Dyrus, though. Even though he's at half HP, he's got double buffs. He's level 3. He's got teammates.
All right.
Dyrus can't afford to get frisky. He is sitting on a ward, though, and he needs... Okay, so he knows that he's sitting on a ward because he just saw Daydreamin move. You got to be careful about telegraphing what kind of information is available to your team by your movements. Oh, Dyrus still gets caught.
He did hit level 2, though, from leeching XP. Good play by Daydreamin to push him away from this one top lane turret, taking plenty of damage. WizFujiiN, and Dyrus is like basically pulling damage away from the turret by doing this.
Yeah, I really like this sort of play when you have a top lane Lee Sin who can kind of bait the enemy team away from doing damage to the turret and try to get them to chase him. Dyrus doing a similar thing on Shyvana, though, able to bait them away for a little bit. The tower delay could actually afford them the opportunity to switch their dual lane because they also had Jinx on the undefended turret down there, the turret that does not have champion damage reduction. TSM are very happy with the way that Coast decided to go for the lane swap.
Yeah, they've just destroyed the turret game here, getting a tier 2 turret
before
their
T1's even done. It's not even done yet.
No, they took it down. I thought.
Is it? All right.
Yeah, Coast is 1 turret kill.
Okay. Getting a little crazy here.
It's okay. 2-1 on turrets, though. Overall, gotta say a great thing for TSM so far. We look at the mid lane matchup. This one actually is going well for Coast, though. Shifter up 5 minions, pushing Bjergsen around a little bit. Bjergsen is out of potions already. Ignite is available for Shifter. He can land some kind of charm combo. Both Elise and Leona waiting around in the wings, trying to help people out. Evelynn not far either.
Now, this is one of the most exciting points of the game when the entire map is covered by fog of war right now. There's no vision. Everything has been blanketed in darkness, and it's really up to the junglers. It's actually everybody who gets to roam now. It's not even just junglers because turrets were taken down so early. So now is when you see the sneaky plays come out. Can we get an AD carry gank or something like that? Up top, though, everybody from TSM just shows as normal.
Well, we've got 3 guys top lane right here. Dyrus lurking around through the tri-brush. Daydreamin's Leona coming to support WizFujiiN, who has been stuck in the solo lane for a short time. Zerk Greaves rushed by WildTurtle here.
Yeah, he wants to annihilate turrets. Jinx already with great attack speed buff from her Q. Wants to add a little bit more and increase this turret lead that they have.
Well, Zion is going to freeze over on this lane, though. Does not have teleport. He's on the correct side of the map for a dragon, but cannot join fights like Dyrus can. 21-11 in minions. Honestly, there's a minion lead for Coast because of the way the lanes are set up.
Okay, so a little bit of minion lead, but that's another point you just said. There's no teleport on Zion, and they are the ones who initiated a lane swap. Why would you take a combat summoner early, no teleport, if you're going to be doing the lane swap?
Well, damage on a Daydreamin, not in a good spot. Flake comes in, first blood goes to WildTurtle. 6 minutes in, top lane under fire, 4 vs 2 now.
Questionable play from Coast so far this game. TSM doing a great job capitalizing. I mean, their reactions, they wasted 0 time. They had the correct reaction to the 2 vs 1 initially, stopped that cheeky little blue buff, then they went in to take it. I think TSM have just been playing very well for the beginning of this game, reacting to everything that Coast is doing.
Looking Cocoon, both dodged right there by Coast, but top lane turret down to half HP. Coast trying to hold this one alive for now. But this turret might not be long for the world, though at the same time, ZionSpartan is still farming in this frozen lane. Level 5 to Dyrus' level 4, 36-11 in minions. TSM does not pay off with a turret here soon. There is a scary ZionSpartan to keep in mind, but here comes round number 3. 4 vs 2 again under the turret. Hook's gonna go out, does not quite land. Daydreamin rejoins the team, finds the stun.
Whoa,
good play,
good play.
WildTurtle staying alive. Minions going down as well. Coast are holding this turret.
Yeah, so because there are so many things that are making me question Coast's early game, I think that they were guessing for a TSM lane swap. And they mind game themselves. Like, I mean, they're doing it against the Jinx team. They have Evelynn, and their top laner has Ignite. I have to think that they were just overthinking the situation and were trying to catch TSM with their lane swap.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. All right, we'll stop talking about the early game, though. Dyrus is teleporting down bottom to catch Zion with his big minion wave and stop it at the turret.
There's about 10 minions here at most that he'll be able to catch up with.
6 to 4.
Yeah, the big lane lead. The satisfying thunks are coming through as he hits the caster minions. He's got enough minions here to push in and take aggro. And the turret damage commences here. ZionSpartan with Ignite. Thunk, thunk, thunk. All right. Oh, he lost the stacks. Pushed away.
I do commend TSM for not trying to go for an early dragon, even though they have the towers down. As I said before, I don't think it is quite worth the damage that you take this early in the game. Coast trying to keep up their blue invades.
Nicely done, though.
From
just
the level 2, yeah.
Steal.
Able to get the second one away, and TheOddOne not making a move to answer.
You know, it's worth pointing out, Coast should have a pretty sizable experience lead because Zion was getting free experience in the bottom lane by himself, whereas then TSM was sharing top lane among 4 people, whereas Coast was sharing it among 2 or 3. So as far as total levels go, Coast, I think, have an experience advantage. They're down 600 in gold, but I mean, an individual level is worth, what, 800, 700 gold worth of stats? So unless the levels actually catch up, Coast kind of betray the scoreboard and are leading on the map.
Zion definitely does have a decent upper hand against Dyrus. However, Dyrus has a pocket Xpecial.
Shows him, though, pulls him out of the pocket. He's there hanging out. And actually, all of TSM, or most of TSM now, rotating towards the bottom side. OddOne not far away at the Wraith camp. WildTurtle holding mid for now. Bjergsen could move over as well, but the fact that Xpecial's down there is TSM hoping to set up Dragon. Wards come out. Coast aware of this. They've pulled their whole team down to the bottom side. The pings come out. Coast try for ward control. Xpecial doing the same. Bjergsen taking a bit of damage here. Shiptur trying to knock him away.
I guess things are going according to plan for Coast here because they've got their split pusher fed. They were successful in getting Zion all that lane farm. And, you know, with everybody down bottom, they should be able to get this turret since Dyrus used his teleport to try and get to lane.
Nice
They're
job
able
by
to
Ghost.
get back in this.
Okay, well, they group up for the bottom side there. They've walked by a couple of wards on the way. Xpecial and Total should know about this, but it's a 4-man group. We've seen this before. It was 4 minutes ago in the top lane. And Coast.
Reverse situation, though. Can TSM defend 3 versus 4? This is going to be on Xpecial to land a good play here.
Looks like Coast don't want it. Even though they know Dyrus is there and they could guess the summoner spell cooldown. Bjergsen on the inside track down to the bottom side. Looks like he'd get there before Shiptur. They back off. Mid lane, Shiptur has enough AP to one-shot cast minions. He's actually grabbed first item, needlessly large rod. Lands the charm. Bjergsen down to half, but he's going to regen.
Yeah, Bjergsen in this matchup, at least he hasn't died this time around. Last time Shiptur was able to get a kill from doing this exact move where he goes into the little fog of war, the lip on that side of the river.
Yeah, that is one big thing I see from the top level mid laners is they use the fog of war that you can get. On top lane turret does go down. No local gold given away, but 100 gold to every member of the team.
I feel like Dyrus has forgotten about that new local gold of turrets.
Yeah. It's basically a minion wave and a half worth of gold.
It's a lot, yeah.
It's half a kill worth of gold.
But yeah, if nobody's around, then it does go to waste. He is scared, though, because if he meets Zion out in the open with no turrets to fall back on, he'll probably get bullied, especially since Zion did go with that Ignite.
See where the teams start moving now. Zion, Fade, Sheen on Jax. He's 2/3 of the way to the best item in the game. Ooh, the engage comes in, Shiptur ults. Trading flashes away with Bjergsen there. Ignite is down as well, but gets some dominance in the lane.
Yeah, the Shiptur Ahri, once again, coming up pretty big. And he's moving towards that mid game. With all these turrets down, once Shiptur does get to start roaming, it's going to be the rest of the members of TSM that have to worry about being picked off. Vision of their own jungle now going to become increasingly more important.
Wow, ZionSpartan going in for the fight under the turret on Dyrus. Ignite goes in, ult comes in, forcing the flash away. Flash Q would have taken him out. Dyrus limping away with low health. Zion still in control of this turret here.
Well, we talked about solo lanes from Coast having to carry this game if they were going to win it. They've done just that, even without Evelynn intervention. The solo lanes from Coast, because they're able to feed a lot of extra farm to that Jax, and just because Shiptur was able to win his mid lane by himself, knowing that the junglers were not going to come interfere due to the 2 versus 1 switch, this is pretty much what Coast were banking on, even though they're down in gold right now.
Is that enough of a reason for Coast to initiate a 2v1? Just to throw a feather
just
back in
to get
the hat?
their solo lanes.
Just to let Shiptur 1v1 Bjergsen.
Jungles.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's tenuous, but hey, we're just going to go back to it. Repel used by Elise.
Making sure that Nintendo does leave the area. So that's that warding that I was talking about around their own jungle. TSM are setting up perimeter wards. Keep track of Evelynn here. A couple defensive pinks. That's down to 3 hits, though, and Team Coast know that it's there.
See what they can find with this one. Daydreamin waiting around in the brush. Eve forced back, Elise near the bottom side. Top lane actually got reset, and it's in a really good spot for ZionSpartan, actually. Right in front of his turret. Dyrus has to go back into the jungle here. Level, what, 9 versus 8? Is that correct for the top lane? 10 now for ZionSpartan.
Yep.
So level lead there. He's got money in the pockets as well. He's about 20-ish gold away from finishing Triforce there, so a big spike. Gonna come in soon for ZionSpartan's Jax. Bjergsen does get his first blue buff of the game, though. Coast did not set up a trap for that one. No invade came through, but their own blue buff is up. Looks like it should be going to Shiptur pretty easily. Shiptur did pick up a Deathfire Grasp versus the Athenes of Bjergsen. We'll see if Shiptur can knock down champions quickly.
Remember that TSM love the team fights, though. They thrive in dragon fights. 1 minute 40 seconds till the next one. And they have a Jinx. Jinx has been able to complete her Bloodthirster. A lot of damage, but is vulnerable to dives. Will Zion be able to get deep and kill Turtle? Will Turtle be picked off by Shifter before the fight even starts? All these questions and more will be answered in 1 minute and 20 seconds.
Xpecial could also flay him. There's more questions. Hypothetical answers. All the above. Who knows? Thought we were done with tests.
Now we're going to keep farming for another minute here.
It's fine. Zaps a minion. The cork dealing plenty of damage. I feel like there should be a special interaction with this
top
skin.
Spinner or a bot or a...
I was going a different way with that one.
Spinner.
I have no idea.
Okay, so Zion, though, he is definitely exerting his will on Dyrus. You can see he chased him past the
Looking for
wave
WildTurtle.
over
Misses
there.
the ult, though. WildTurtle flashed away from that one pretty cleanly. There will not be a solar flare for the initial dragon fight. Coast would have to buy some time if they want it back. Shifter looking for the roam.
Again, he wants the pick, and he got it
the
again!
damage. Look at the burst comes through. Can Bjergsen get away with this? A lot of damage. Shifter, he's gonna go down, and Bjergsen lives.
The odd one hanging around mid lane. Bjergsen gets caught out the exact same way as he did last time, but they come up with the kill because he stands and fights. An odd one comes to his rescue.
Man, great play by Bjergsen. I was surprised Shifter was ulting in a melee range the whole time, but Zion still looking to fight onto Dyrus, half HP on the Shyvana.
They still have another solo laner, and he's still extremely powerful here. Even though they didn't kill Bjergsen, he was forced back to base. So no dragon for TSM. Coast are going to start it off. This is a 3 versus 3 situation. They're tanking dragon. That's not a good situation to be in.
Special with Moby Boots won't go for the hook. He will.
Turtle has no flash though, and he's getting cornered from the rest of the team. He's split up. He does not want to be far away from his Thresh. Needs that peel.
Especially with the preemptive lantern. Said if they catch you, go left.
Yeah, now he's going around. Okay, he circles all the way around the dragon pit. Everybody needs to come in from the same side. Both mid laners have returned.
Yeah. Bjergsen has ulti. Shifter does not quite. Bjergsen is going to have flash soon, though. Shifter already has his. We'll see if the summoners make much of a difference. Cork comes out again. Doesn't quite land. Pink Ward going to get swept by TSM. Jack still winning in his top lane. Dyrus actually very, very low up there. He's going to be actually maybe going down. The engage comes in. Turtle with barrier. He's going to be going down. Also, Dyrus drops. Shifter's going to fall as well. Fight still goes on. Oddwood low on health. He is going to go down. Daydreamin running. Body slam will land. Nintendude on the runaway. Can he get out? Special. 2 hits from dead WizFujiiN. Looking for it. The kill does come through for Bjergsen. The hook's going to come out. The W won't quite land. The flame backwards. WizFujiiN can't catch him. He's got nowhere to go. Bjergsen takes a drink. Takes him down, 300 gold.
Whoa. All right. TSM thrives in dragon fights. Did we go over that? Yes. All right. So Zion up top, though. He just takes down Dyrus. This is not one dragon fight. They're going to win. Did he get out? Yeah, he got out from the turret as well. Down towards the dragon. We did see 2 people go down, but everyone's so low. Bjergsen's able to clean this one up. Couple of body slams. He has that blue buff now. And the flash one. He actually got the auto off as the flash went through. Xpecial dodging that.
Yeah. The W barely missed and the flay completely well timed.
Yeah, it's a star burst W too. So if you're either way towards one of those points, towards one of the corners, it would have stabbed him.
Well, actually, to point out, Zion did get killed by the turret.
Oh, he did go down to that last turret shot.
The golden kill credit did go to Dyrus. But you're just seeing Zion happy to turret dive. I mean, he's forcing the issue in that lane.
Oh, yeah, he is. Because he knows he has to make some sort of play. The rest of his team dying around Dragon.
WildTurtle stunned up, though, has nowhere to go. Gives the kill away to ZionSpartan, but the mid lane, Nintendo goes down. Bjerg not even having to ult for it.
Well, 1 for 1 there, but Jinx off the table means she cannot continue to CS at this time. This gives WizFujiiN the opportunity to try and catch back up. However, they are shoved under the turret. Hard for him to grab those CS.
Yeah, Zion pushing towards the bottom lane. The ulti still available for Bjergsen. Wave clear pretty clean here for Shifter. 156 minions now for both mid laners. And to point out, Bjergsen is 5-0-1. He is a significant reason for why TSM are doing well in this game now, having such a great impact in team fights.
Uh-oh. No wards deep in the jungle for Zion, and not that many members of TSM were visible on the map. Does not want to fight this one. Dyrus, though, should be careful about pressing his luck. Looks like Zion's going all the way back to base, though. TSM running on mid lane.
3 versus 3. Jinx joining the fight, though. Cocoon's going to miss right there. Dodged away by Nintendo. Mid lane turret is going to go down, making that 4-2 right here. TSM getting now all 3 outer turrets for themselves. You're going to see them sitting on a 3,500 gold lead as well. When they got Bjergsen around, TSM are winning every single fight here. And they're using that to good effect.
How early do you think Jinx will go for a Banshee's Veil? Because
it could be after Last Whisper.
He's got to worry about so many things picking him. The Leona and the Ahri will both be looking to grab him, and Banshee's would be a good combo breaker for either of those. Even though he does have Xpecial on Thresh to rely on, he's not going to cover all of the angles.
Yeah, well, the one good thing for TSM is because Bjergsen's doing so well, not only is no one going to buy a lot of armor early on because they're buying MR, but also if WildTurtle does go a little bit tanky, like in getting a Rush Banshee's Veil, they still have the damage from Bjergsen. So I think he can get away with like 3rd item Banshees.
Looks like they also got a Mikhail's too, so not only can Xpecial Lantern Turtle, but he can get him out of that Solar Flare if it does land on his head again.
Aegis also is going in for the odd one. We're seeing a lot more Aegises. Still in 4.4. It doesn't actually have the change going through yet in 4.5, but the items just come back recently.
Wants to protect everybody. OddOne has been known to be a utility jungler, trying to do what's best for the team. Good control over the Baron side here. You can see that TSM's jungle is completely devoid of coast wards right now. So they are not in danger of having any of their buffs controlled. And it's really up to TSM. They've been doing a great job with all these sweepers. They've actually got a really good foothold around this Baron side of the map.
Which also means they have a foothold on the flank towards ZionSpartan. He actually backs up right there, realizing TSM's off the map.
Exactly.
Coast have a couple defensive wards there. They do see that one. Take the Wraiths too. Whatever you can. TSM kill away another ward right there.
That
so
might
Coast
be
knows
the
around.
most common bush to camp in now.
Yeah.
That one on the backside of red buff right before Baron. Oh, and this is a classic ward.
It's going to come through the jump over. A nice flash from Daydreamin. But it is still a Summoner Spell burn. Well done, Xpecial. Spiderlings, just they don't like brush today.
They need some encouragement.
Yeah.
They're volatile Spiderlings, but they seem to be a little wary. Oh, vision control on Baron doing work here. They do have Elise and Jinx putting out really strong damage. Now Coast are getting pretty bold here. They face check it. Baron's at half. Zion's at bottom. This would be a 4 vs 5.
Okay, well, Nintendo has Flash, so they need to play for this one. Daydreamin losing half his health bar, though. Dyrus looking towards the front. Cork not quite going to land. Zion still pushing the bottom side. TSM forced to recall.
Zion gets so much work done here because TSM gave up on the objective that they were going for. It is a big win for Coast. Can he finish it off before? Dyrus comes in.
Zion popped his dodge just to get a Trinity Force proc.
Turtle.
I think he's safe. The Chompers eat nothing but air. They're dead. What if Flame Chompers could feel?
So if they're Flame Chompers, then they should eat air, right? They need oxygen.
Yeah. They spit out carbon dioxide.
Really, though, I'm worried about this bottom. I really I want to see another duel between Dyrus and Zion. Dyrus does not have much in the way of offensive capabilities.
Yeah.
So he's always got to be scared about Zion's all-in. Zion does have his slow now. Cutlass completed.
I feel like this is a significant lead for him. Lands the stun, decent damage, puts a slow down as well. He's got to watch for rotations. He's well surrounded by TSM.
Pretty much what it is. The only thing that's keeping Zion from going full force ahead, worried about collapse from the rest of TSM. He doesn't have great ward coverage inside the jungle. Pretty much his ward coverage, if you see a member of TSM that close, it's too late.
Yeah.
His wards are really, really close to him.
Well, Coast right now putting pressure towards the mid lane, kind of holding TSM from rotating out. If they collapsed on Zion's Jax, mid lane turret would probably fall. So you're seeing...
Oh, Dyrus. Zion waits. Zion bides his time, waiting for Dyrus to come back, but they make the call for Dragon, and Dyrus lives.
Coast ping towards Baron a little bit. They're actually moving towards it. I don't know if they can kill this nearly in time. This Dragon's going to be uncontested, and they're going to leave just OddOne to take it.
I think they're pulling them away from Zion so that Zion can actually split bottom. They want to threaten TSM around Baron, trying to buy more time for the split push.
Now it's going to be Dyrus sent back to base. No teleport for him, meaning if he makes the recall, it's just a 4-on-4 on the map. But keep in mind, most of, well, I shouldn't say most, but a large portion of Coast Gold is on ZionSpartan's Jax here. You can see 8,500 gold is the richest member on the team, whereas Dyrus is beneath Bjergsen's mark by 1,700. These top laners being down here is actually relative advantage for TSM.
Especially since Dyrus does have teleport. However, he will most likely not have the opportunity to use it. If he leaves the lane, Zion will get that turret.
The stun's going to land. Zion still farming up a 20-minion lead Coast.
They're forcing it here. TSM have to engage.
Good cocoon from the OddOne. Stops Shiptur, though. Nintendude, he's going to watch for the hook. There's the hook. It's going to land. Nintendude taking a bunch of damage. He pops the ulti. Can they kill off the OddOne? There goes the repel. He's trying to run. Killed off by Bjergsen's ulti.
Baron heals back up. Got to be careful. Oh, Xpecial flirting with death here.
Red buff. With the red buff, he's going to look in. Thresh actually goes down. WizFujiiN does get the kill off the back of the charm. Dyrus does not have Dragon Form, does not yet have Flash either. Zion on the chase. Dyrus cannot get away from this one. Zion gets the 1-on-1 kill. 2 kills for 1 on the map.
Intense game again here. The split push is working out. Let's see what happened to Xpecial.
That's just greedy.
Yeah.
Even Daydreamin took part right there. Jumped over the wall, had to walk back. Shifter got to dash back over. WildTurtle killing away the wolves. Poor Copenhagen. TheOddOne chilling with Elise. Gonna kill away some of these lizards. Not a problem, they're the little ones. That got stolen away by Jax not long ago. ZionSpartan there. Mid lane turret still alive. TSM keeping that one in good repair. A 3-kill lead, and I believe every dragon on the map as well is TSM's. Farm split fairly even across the teams. I'd say there's maybe like a total of like 10 to 15 minions separating the entire team rosters here. So it's really the kills and dragon control right now that are putting TSM in such a good spot. Oh, red buff still blue. Shifter queued early. ZionSpartan double buff.
That was the plan all along. He needs lower cooldown on his jump so he can kill Dyrus again.
Yep.
Man, he is definitely, there's no single person who can stop him right now either. Trinity Force plus Blade of the Ruined King is ridiculous. So TSM, they really need to make use of the small advantages that they have. They commit Dyrus up to top. Whoa, very dangerous. Leaving that bottom inhibitor open to Zion.
Well,
whoa.
27 minion, 3-1-0 Jackson. Immediately the recall. The hook didn't land. TSM thought they could get a catch off this. They didn't. Coast playing the defensive game so well. Zion in on the inhibitor. Good damage comes through. Will he ignore Dyrus?
He's committing to it.
He's trying, but here comes the Thresh. The hook's going to land. ZionSpartan, not a good spot. Jumps over to minions. Lure than King use. Special kills him, takes the double buffs. A little bit more than Zion could chew.
It's so chancy. I mean, Coast, they rely 100% on keeping vision of the whole team from TSM. They need the 4-man squad to pressure TSM around Baron while Zion commits for that. He can't commit to that turret if they don't have vision of the entire team. Yes, if it's just Dyrus, he can tank Dyrus' damage while he finishes off the turret. But Xpecial comes in as well. The rest of Coast were not able to hold on to TSM. Biggest member down for Coast. TSM have free reign of the map.
Well, right now, TSM are still waiting on WildTurtle to show up mid, though. And ZionSpartan up in about 7 seconds as well. WildTurtle will be there first. Yeah, this turret should be going down with the numbers lead there. Here comes WildTurtle's Jinx. Phantom Dancer is done on top of the Bloodthirster, and there they go. Good stuff out of that one. Wave clear from Coast, but of course TSM now growing their gold lead. 5,000 for them. Spiderling gets through the brush this time.
So
not so pensive.
One little mistake there of not being able to keep track of every member on TSM, not being able to inform their split pusher, cost them a turret mid.
Yeah.
He did get it very low though. Yes, the inhibitor turrets regenerate, but not quickly. So if Zion can get back down there, he still has a good chance of bursting that turret down.
Let's see what he can get on this one. Killing away these minions. We'll see who shows up. The recall from Dyrus. Bjergsen is drinking out of the cask. Back goes the Shyvana.
It's the exact same decision that they have to make. Who's going to be recalling? They have to have very good communication from Coast to actually pull this off.
Thresh is around as well. Xpecial waiting in the wings. This could be the exact same combo as last time. He's going to wait for the engage. Has the Talisman of Ascension. ZionSpartan starting in towards, I'm guessing, a Banshee's Veil, his next item. But the extra MR will certainly help a lot against Dyrus. But the rest of TSM now off the map once again. Zion, a little bit in danger getting surrounded. Another ward comes down.
MR helps against pretty much the whole team. Shyvana without Blade of the Ruined King, so magic damage heavy.
Yeah.
And really, all he has to worry about is Jinx. Jax also has the Counter-Strike, so auto attacks will not affect him for a large portion of a team fight, and he's probably going to be looking to kill Jinx. If they get her off the map, the only defensive stat he has to worry about is magic resist.
Well, here comes the engage. OddOne is there with Dyrus. ZionSpartan gets stunned up. Ignite comes down, looking for the engage. Chases OddOne down. Does he have the damage? One hit to go. Zion inside the base finds one. Now stuck in a duel with Dyrus. Not going to go far. Does jump to a ward, but kills him off. Dyrus getting the gold credit for it. Mid lane turret does go down though. Coast use the distraction. They lose an assist, but they get a turret for it. And now they set up around Baron.
Zion was able to take the smite down. So he knew that even though a little bit, it wasn't a great trade as far as the power is concerned, trading Jax for Elise. But there's nothing that TSM cannot take the Baron without their smite. It'll be very risky.
Some good wards by TSM, get them controls. They push down the mid lane. Dyrus going to secure them, the dragon. It's got to feel bad having to kill your own race, but Dyrus will do it for TSM. Bjergsen tells him to do it, and Dyrus obliges. WildTurtle makes pain a little bit easier, actually does the killing blow, so Dyrus can feel good about himself on that one. He did not slay his brother.
He just beat him to within an inch of his life,
hey,
and then let him get shot.
It's not murder.
All right. Dyrus gets off on a technicality here. He's acquitted. No jail for Dyrus today.
On his birthday. Xpecial and Bjergsen.
All right. Back to the ward control, freak.
You're holding your magnifying glass.
Yeah, man. I was investigating the Dyrus case. He's innocent. However, the case of the vision around Baron, still hotly contested. Both teams trying to get their wards in place. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4 sweepers here for TSM. Still sitting on 3 for Coast, but they're buying plenty of pink wards.
Well, back to the bottom lane. ZionSpartan, no longer a top laner.
I don't know. If TSM make the call to shove everybody top, Zion has to be with the team. This is an inhibitor turret. He cannot get down to that bottom inhibitor turret for Coast because he has no teleport. He ran with the combat summoner, the Ignite.
Yeah, and he's actually waiting around on the side. He's like, buy the white, can't buy the wolves. He's waiting to flank, actually.
If he comes in and he flanks WildTurtle, he takes out Turtle at the beginning of the fight. Doesn't matter how much gold lead TSM have. Coast will be able to win that. All eyes going to be on Turtle. He has Flash and Barrier and Xpecial.
And look at all the engagement potentials for Coast. Nintendo off on the left-hand side. ZionSpartan on the right-hand side, waiting around outside of ward vision. TSM have to be afraid of how hard they push for this.
Yeah, they've got to know, though, that Coast are trying to flank them from both sides. It's an Evelynn. They've got to be aware that Evelyn's always trying to flank, and they don't see Zion on the map. That means he's probably waiting in the fog of war as well.
All right, barrel roll comes out. Dyrus in the front lines. No real turret damage to speak of for TSM. There's a gigantic minion wave towards the bottom side. Poke comes out.
Interesting timing on that one. Usually teams like to do that when they have AD carries in position to get turret damage.
Yeah, it's going to get about half the cooldown for the next minion wave. So, like, it's not far away from being back up. But, yeah, the regen, very easy to reach. ZionSpartan goes to defend the bottom lane right here. A lot of minions for him. He'll hit level 18 before too terribly long. TSM used that to run towards Baron. They will run through a ward, though.
Yeah, didn't get much done here. They're going to have to clear out the vision, but that will signal Coast.
There are wards Xpecial. If you can play into hook, it could land. Good juke by Nintendude.
Yep, Nintendude has learned the ways of the zigzag. Did you know, if you encounter a crocodile in the wild, you are also supposed to run zigzags because while they are extremely fast in bursts of speed in one direction, they cannot turn very quickly.
That's good to know.
Survival tips.
So if you want to get away from Renekton... Oh wait, he has Slice and Dice.
Turret goes down from TSM. Good rotation because they got all this control of the vision around red side.
Nice job by these guys. 6 turrets to 5 now. TSM up 4 kills, up a turret, up all the dragons even still. But Coast did sneak a ward back down into the Baron pit. TSM knows about it, they just don't seem to care very much. Gonna take this one out as quickly as they can. Ascension use Coast. Ooh, that nearly caught ZionSpartan.
Trinket ward saves the day for Zion right there. TSM go right back to the Baron though, forcing this one hard.
The explosive cast gonna knock back WizFujiiN. Here comes the box. Zion in the front lines, a good solar flare. Zion still winning around, dodging in towards the front. It's gonna be Dyrus taking a bunch of pain, forced to flash back. WizFujiiN still around, hook on the Nintendude. Shiptur takes out Dyrus, but loses his life in the process. WizFujiiN staying alive. Rocket nearly takes down the Lucian. The flash hook is gonna land on the Nintendude. The Coast jungler is gone. 4 versus 3 now in the combat. The flash.
Oh, he hit it!
Ooh, pork on a WizFujiiN. He's gonna stay alive though. Pops the barrier for it.
Didn't believe.
Well, the mid lane going to be sieged now, though, by ZionSpartan. TSM goes back towards the Baron pit.
Zion can heal up off these minions. He can come right back in here. Daydreamin does not want to give up on it.
2/3 the way towards Solar Flare is back. Half HP. Here comes the engage.
WildTurtle
taking some damage. He's trying to do an Xpecial. Low on health as well. Zion trying to run away. He's ignited. Ruin King used TheOddOne, not in range to chase him down. Nearly the kill for the TheOddOne. WizFujiiN, Daydreamin is still running away. The flash body slam is going to land. Kill comes through for the TheOddOne. 14-8 TSM.
And they return to Baron.
Oh,
Bjergsen doesn't give up.
Kill. Bjergsen versus ZionSpartan. Zion wins that fight. Trades 1-for-1. 80 carry does die, though.
Zion extremely low, though. Dyrus teleporting in. They still want to finish this Baron.
We're going to try for about the 6th time right here. The Hoard will be going down, and it looks like the Baron will as well. ZionSpartan, no health to speak of.
He's coming back again.
This seems a little greedy.
That's hook. That's just crazy.
Dodge. Zion, please. Baron does go down. Zion's got nowhere to go. He's got to watch out for the flay. The rocket comes out. Goodbye, ZionSpartan. Kill goes to TSM.
So over the duration of that Baron fight, 2 super mega death rockets.
Yep.
Striking the field. TSM do not give up on an objective once they set their sights on it. That's what we have learned today.
You're not quitters.
Bjergsen went for the kill, which actually cost him his life, but ends up with the Baron for TSM in the end. However, Bjergsen will not be wearing that Baron buff as a mark of shame for dying.
7-1-4. The KDA this game doesn't go down, but you still add the death to that column there. Making him a little bit sad, but Bjergsen hitting 7 kills per game. I want to get the tracker back up on how many more kills he needs for the single split kill record, because we're down to his 2nd of his last 4 games of the regular season. He's got very few left to play, and he's got 7 kills here, so.
And they still got another team fight to go, so there are plenty more opportunities for kills this game. It's looking to be a long one here. TSM with the Baron buff, just looking to grab up all of the extra gold left on the map here. Subsidize their item purchases here. A couple more elixirs coming out just to top them off.
You know, interesting thing, actually, you talk about item builds. I didn't realize this till now, but Nintendude went for Spectral Wraith, actually, on Elise.
Whoa.
We don't see that very often. Now, mathematically, as far as the numbers go, you get way more ability damage by going Spectral Wraith instead of Elder Lizard. Obviously, people getting Lizard for attack damage and jungle clear speed, but...
Here's my thoughts on that. With the new Evelynn, if you're going to go the ability power route, you need to max your cooldown reduction. Because on any champion where you're constantly spamming an ability for damage, even if Q has a very short cooldown, the percentage cooldown reduction is a percentage damage increase because you're constantly spamming that spell whenever it comes up. If you find yourself doing that on any champion, then yes, cooldown reduction is the right buy for you. So if you go ability with Evelynn, you need cooldown reduction.
See if you can get any more on this one. Banshee's build does not give any, nor does anything that builds out of a Giant's belt.
That's what we're getting at here.
Yep. Finished the thought. Just making observations. See if Nintendo can add more to his abilities later on here. Charm not going to land on much. Shifter trying to wave clear, but the Baron buff TSM going to be pretty good at making the siege happen.
Yeah. Lantern goes out, go to rocket form. Okay, now they have to wait on the cooldown for Lantern, or else Turtle cannot extend like that.
Yeah. The good thing is it syncs up really well with minion waves. You should always have it once per wave. You just try again later. The turtle heals the turret heals 90 health between waves. We'll see TSM try for it again. Dyrus actually will tank the turret damage here for a bit. Turtle goes in, takes the hook, actually onto ZionSpartan, pulled back into the box. Dodge comes through. Will they find Xpecial? No stun comes out. Rocket on the side.
Ulti down for Nintendude as well. This is going to be the turret.
And there goes the mid inhibitor as well. TSM 16-9. 39.5 minutes in, they're satisfied with just a mid inhibitor and they back off.
Yeah, Coast not able to continue to split push because if they leave a 5 versus 4 fight in mid, then they will just get run over. End up losing the inhibitor anyway, though, and TSM just siege right back up on the bottom side. Same exact situation here. Use the lantern to cover Turtle while he tries to rocket this turret. Bjergsen zones with his barrels.
Let's see what these guys can find. Looks like minions dying down here in the bottom lane. It's going to be TSM still attempting. Baron buff just on for a couple more seconds, but it's about to go down right here.
Interesting how Zion is flanking, but Nintendude is not flanking anymore. Nintendude doesn't have his ulti anymore, so even if he does go in, he's just going to be walking at them and going with this ability power build here, just trying to get Q damage mostly.
I'm surprised by the Sork Shoes actually as well, since the E is physical.
Yeah, I mean, it's all on the
Q engage for Shiptur finds a bit of damage there. DFG off on towards the Gragas, but not going to be enough. The disengage comes through from all sides. Bjergsen still holds on to his ultimate. Shiptur now without his and without the flash. That play make did not work.
Uh-oh. Big wave top 2 is getting damage down there.
No, this is going to be an important wave for Coast then. They do not decide to defend the top lane wave. Zion's going to lose the Banshee's Veil.
I feel like they have to pull the trigger if they're going to do it at all, because another inhibitor turret down. There we go.
Flash forced engaged from the Evelynn. There's the hook in towards ZionSpartan. Puts out the abilities. The nice knockback kills off Shiptur. Daydreamin's got nowhere to go as well. 2 kills so far. TSM. Health bar's low for Coast. They're on the run right now. Bjergsen. Can he find more? The hook on the Nintendude. He's got nowhere to go. Kill comes across. 2 more for WildTurtle. Double kill for the man. Bottom inhibitor goes down. There's minions ready to take down the base.
Solid game from TSM.
With the engage with ZionSpartan, he's trying to hold the game up there. Hits WildTurtle, the lifesteal keeps him alive. Dyrus doing the deed. Bjergsen picking up his 9th kill of the game. 9-1-6, 21-9 the game overall. Down goes the Nexus. TSM had to work for it, but 42 minutes in, take down the game.
They had a good little run in the mid game with the split push. Team Coast there. Zion. Every little decision that you make while you're split pushing, though, could mean the difference in the game. One extra second committing to a turret, where Xpecial happens to be able to get away. Xpecial got out of vision. He was down bottom 2. It meant the death of Zion. Yeah. That was 1 more turret. That was a chance for TSM to clear out the wards. It's those small mistakes. Split pushing is a very, very fragile strategy to go with, especially if you don't have teleport.
It is. So TSM reclaiming first after this match. Bjergsen also settled the score in the mid lane. Kind of fired back in the matchup.
He needed help from OddOne to do it, though. That was close.
It was actually unassisted.
Oh, he actually didn't even get
OddOne showed up with Repel and couldn't land an ability in time. Bjergsen actually did get the solo kill on that one. But yeah, he leveled up off it. Healed just enough to live through the Ignite. There you just got to see Bjergsen on your screen. But he made it happen. Honestly, Bjergsen 9-1-6. Shiptur, as well as he played, went 1-4-3 that game. He never got anything going. It was the ZionSpartan show. Unfortunately, not enough co-stars.
Yeah, it was... I mean, both solo lanes performed pretty well at the beginning.
Yeah.
Coast did put a lot of effort into getting them strong, but it didn't pay off this time.
Yeah. So TSM now back to tied for first place. They and Cloud9 both have 2 wins. They're going to play again, of course, at the end of today. And the winner is very likely to guarantee first place. If Cloud9 wins, they do guarantee first place. If TSM wins, at worst, they tie break for first. But again, an important match for these guys. First place seed, pretty nice. It means you dodge the winner of the 3rd, 6th place match, which the prediction is CLG there. Kind of gives you a little bit of an easier padded bracket if you get the first place seed. You can see that, you know, OddOne's happy. He's like, all right, we had to work for it. Took a while. Dealing with Jax was difficult, but yeah. I mean, they played around a champion who could 1v1 anyone on the map. And a team that was disengaging over and over again. Not a lot of hard engage for TSM, and they still played it strategically correctly.
Yeah, it's hard for Coast because they have to keep track of everyone at all times if they're going to be able to pull that off. Come down to those late game high pressure shot calls that you have to make, and it really all the pressure was on Coast to be the ones initiating the move.
Yeah,
and TSM really, they just have to react. And since they're all veterans of the scene, they've played so many of these high-pressure situations. They've gotten through to these late games. They've actually had practice with games that go this late and where they have to make these decisions between your bottom inhibitor and your Baron. And they played it well.
Yeah, and I mean, you talked about Coast, the one who has to force the issue and make the plays, actually. We have a replay of the fated 1v1 there, Shifter versus Bjergsen, if we can get that up there. This one's fun.
So this is exactly the same story as the last time the teams played, but last time, Shifter actually killed him. So let's see, Charm lands, that's important for Ahri. He needs to get increased damage for everything else, and he gets into melee range, as you pointed out.
Yeah.
So Bjergsen was able to go offensive there, and as you said, TheOddOne actually didn't even touch her.
Nope.
So,
but yeah, Bjergsen got 2 auto attacks there. His W was on 130-ish damage auto attacks. Like, that was the difference in that fight.
yeah.
Like, if literally just like dashing a little bit farther away and getting out of range. Because after the body slam and the explosive cast was used, Bjergsen couldn't have caught back up. So unfortunate misplay by Shifter. That might have actually turned the game very differently.
Close.
I mean, it was that close. It was like the rest of the Ignite ticks and like one more auto attack would have done it. But of course, well played by Bjergsen, well played by TSM. Let's send it across the studio where Riv and Jad are joined by a member of the victorious TSM.
Thank you very much, Freak. We want to welcome TSM's Xpecial to the desk. Congrats on the win. The Thresh bays have been quite crazy. Can we attribute it to the new haircuts you and Bjergsen have?
Sure, you could say that. I mean, I would think that it's partly because we've been practicing a lot.
All right.
But I mean, the haircut obviously is mainly it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So with that, going out and getting haircuts together, trying to get the bonding, we've seen struggles in the 4.4 patch for Team Solo Mid. Talk to us about that.
Initially, it was mainly the 2v1s that we weren't really... We were trying to figure out ways to avoid 2v1ing, but we ended up pretty much saying that, okay, purple side, we're going to have to 2v1, we're going to have to invade, and we're going to have to just suck it up. And we actually don't like purple right now. I think purple has a huge disadvantage, and we actually only lose games on purple generally, like in scrims and stuff. I mean, we do lose on blue too, but purple generally has a disadvantage in that you have to pretty much 2v1, invade blue, go top. Yeah, not a big fan of that, but in these games, it isn't really the 2v1s. It's that because we're 2v1ing and we don't win lanes that early, it means that our transitions in the mid game and our Baron calls have to be on point in order for us to just snowball games. And we aren't able to do that yet. And it's a big problem for us, especially in this last game and the game before, actually.
Yeah, something that was interesting about this game is traditionally in the LCS this year, you guys have dominated all the lower teams, but Coast is the only one to beat you. And again, you guys kind of struggled against them. What happened in this game, and why do you struggle against Coast?
I don't think it's really Coast in general. It's really just the last few weeks. We haven't really been snowballing games at all. Only times we do is when we actually 2v2. And when you don't 2v2, Turtle and I, we aren't able to snowball our bot lane. You know, Dyrus isn't able to show off his top lane mechanics, and Bjergsen, you know, he's just Bjergsen. But overall, it's just that we don't have our lane, so we can't snowball early. So we have to snowball mid game, which is a lot harder, a lot more teamwork, and we make the right calls. Like last game, and in the game against EG, we just Baron was almost MVP in both these games, and that's not good. It's kind of showing just how bad we are at Baron, and it's something that Cloud9 has done way better than us, and it's something that we still need to strive towards. And in our next game against Cloud9, it's going to show if we don't do it correctly.
Well, let's look at some of where TSM really prevails, and that's Dragon Fights. 17 minutes here. We're going to pull up a replay where Bjergsen comes out with his triple kill on this one. What was the communication going into this fight, knowing that you guys are kind of struggling with this patch?
Honestly, right here, we were just trying to get position. So they were trying to start it. Usually when you start Dragon, you're at a disadvantage. We had more, more brushes. Triplet came from the side, but luckily, Turtle died really early, but fortunately, he managed to do a little bit of damage, and Bjergsen was really strong here. Gragas, we talk, you think about game-changing ultimates. He had a pretty good ultimate there. And I think the really lucky thing was I managed to survive by, I don't know, I mean, I flashed.
Sneaky play.
Yeah, it was kind of lucky in a way, but at the same time, it's just one of the nice things about Thresh. It's just that you can do stuff like this, lose vision, and just run away, and he slowed, and Bjergsen, I was pretty much yelling at Bjergsen, hey, Bjergsen, can you please help me out here? Except with not those nice words. And fortunately, he got there in time, and he managed to save me. So I was pretty happy with that. It looked pretty cool.
That was one of those mid-game team fights that you guys are going to actually have to excel on a little bit more, especially when you guys are facing up against Cloud9 later today. What's it like playing against Cloud9 now that you guys are battling for that first place spot?
it's really scary. It means that every mistake can really snowball the game. And it really hurts us because we feel like right now our objective and Baron control isn't good enough. So that even if we do get a couple kills early, it might not mean the end of the game. But if they do, it could mean the end for us. It's much like when we face foreign teams, like especially Korean teams in general. It's just that they are really good at snowballing. And even though we get ahead early, we're not able to do what they do. And then what happens is that we get a lead, we throw it, they win. They get a lead, they keep it, they win. And it's a really bad cycle for us. And it's something that we still have a really hard time breaking. And if we don't win early laning, like how we've been doing for most of the season, we have a hard time. And it's definitely showing in these last few games.
And speaking of Barons, it brings us into our next replay. I believe at 34 into this one. Xpecial at the pit on Thresh. You had a big play here. Kind of speak to me what it's like being a Thresh at the pit and what your priorities are for this fight.
At the pit, they don't have vision of you. You have to land a hook, but at the same time, they can move out of the way, they can juke, they have time, and you're just like, okay, please land this hook. And I managed to land one, and I'm not sure Zion falls here, but we managed to get a couple ults down. Dyrus goes a little bit too deep, but fortunately, Shiptur tries going too hard. He actually dies instantly, which is really good. I mean, sure, Dyrus dies, but Shiptur was huge here. He didn't even get 2 charges. He only got 1 charge of his ultimate off, and luckily, we had some really good ultimates, a good Jinx ult, and we just managed to clean him up. And I got Evelynn down, and it was actually really messy.
So how do you guys clean these plays up there? So like in this last play in particular, what is something that like now watching it a second time, could you guys have done much better?
One thing was, it shouldn't have gotten that point in the first place. It was already 35 minutes in, and we had a much bigger lead, and that was slowly getting smaller and smaller. We were losing turrets bottom, we lost the turret mid to minions. It was a really bad situation. We just needed to clear out wards correctly, and then maybe not even go for Baron. Just like, go for top turret, mid turret, something like that. And we just didn't pressure correctly. We pressured wrong places, wrong times. We lost objectives, and it wasn't something that was just clean. It wasn't clean at all. And that's why it got to that point. And if we had done that 25 minutes instead of 35 minutes, a hook would mean a kill. But at that point, Jax was so strong, he was able to tank everything, and he didn't die initially, and that was a problem. So pretty much, if we have a lead, we need to keep it, and that's just the big consensus with League of Legends. Is that you have a lead, you keep it, snowball it, you win the game.
All right, Xpecial, as we close out the last few questions, definitely like to touch on what you call home in the bot lane and really the race for the best bot lane in NA. I wouldn't call it a race, but you guys...
The debate.
The debate, yeah. CLG, and we also have Lemon Nation and Sneaky from Cloud9 up there. What are your kind of thoughts on these power bot lanes, as people would call them?
So we each have different playstyles, I would say. With Cloud9 and Cloud9's bot lane, they kind of go for the more strategic. They go for a lot of CC, team fight heavy. They're willing to 2v1, stuff like that. When you play against CLG, you know they want a 2v2. If they know you want a 2v1, they're gonna follow you, and that's just the difference. It's for us, I don't know, we just kind of flip flop. Sometimes we 2v1, sometimes we like to 2v2, and it's really depending on Turtle. Personally, I'm more of a all right, we're just gonna do the better thing. Turtle's like, all right, let's go 2v1. So we kind of have these arguments back and forth, but at the same time, it just shows that how different you can be, even though you're playing the same role. Even the champions are different. For example, Ahri always Thresh. If it's up, he'll pick it. You go to Lemon, he's probably gonna pick Karma. Don't tell him this, but we think he's gonna pick Karma. And
he wasn't.
Maybe he won't. Oh, yeah, I don't think so at all. Not at all. But that's just the difference in playstyle and difference between bot lanes. It's hard to compare. I think if every bot lane had the 2v2, I think CLG or us would probably be one of the best. But since the current situation is that you often 2v1, I mean, there's team fights involved too. So C9 is actually really, really good at all of those.
Yeah, and I always kind of look at you guys as the more almost rounded bot lane of all of them. And I did want to get your thoughts on Cloud9's bottom lane that they debuted yesterday, because last season they did the Zyra Ashe. And this one was Corki Karma. It's a little bit different. Just what are your thoughts on that lane? It feels like a high damage lane to me.
Okay, so they did really well in the first game, I believe, against maybe XTG. I forget who.
Yeah, it was XTG.
Yeah, and then their second game, they had a really tough time. They were against CLG's bot lane, which was Thresh, Lucian. So pretty much when I watch Karma Corki, it's that their level 1 is strong, but Thresh and Lucian are stronger. And what they need to do as the Corki Karma is just get a couple levels in. Get level 2, get level 3, and then you're really, really strong. But unfortunately, Thresh and Lucian are so strong that they're able to bully out C9's bot lane. And honestly, purple side disadvantage kind of comes in. It's that they had to, They have to just check brushes. They have to help them with blue or whatever. It's just that purple side, it's almost always better to just 2v1, just go top and just go invade there. And hopefully teams that play against us don't know that, but that's why we don't really like purple. It's that we kind of are forced to 2v1. I mean, you don't have to, but it's kind of preferable.
I understand.
All right, Xpecial, thank you very much. Congratulations on the win, and best of luck to both TSM and Cloud9 in the match later today.
Thank you.
All right, in our next match, Curse faces off against CLG. But first, we are constantly asking our viewers how they LCS, and we're always amazed at the responses we get with people watching in their offices, on their phones, and at the beach.
And we recently caught up with Cloud9 substitute support MIA as he shares his love of the game while helping to make LCS watching a social event in Houston.
I'm Abe, MIA Win, and I'm an ex-professional support player for Team Complexity. I came back to Houston after we didn't qualify for the LCS a second time. I'm the support substitute for Cloud9 now, and I also just kind of do things with the Houston gamers, and so we're getting more involved with League of Legends there as well.
My name's Eric Hulsey. I run a group called Houston Gamers here in Houston. It's a community-driven organization that brings people off the couch and into the bars and lounges to play video games and connect on their common interests.
When I came back to Houston, I contacted Houston Gamers and said, I can help you work with getting more League of Legends people to come out into your events so that we can, just foster more community.
When he approached us about doing an event, we definitely knew that the interest was there, and if Abe was willing to host it, that we could throw one killer event.
I picked the name MIA because I only have one eye. My left eye is a prosthesis. I used to have a lot of trouble getting acquainted with people because I would be really self-conscious about my left eye because I knew it was a little off-centered. And so I tried to turn that into a way that I could talk to people instead. When I had that realization that I wanted to kind of get over that fear of talking to people was when I first became a pro player. I had to meet all these new people, and it was just really hard to talk to them and think about the fact that maybe they're looking like I would stare at their pupils and look to see if they were looking at my eye. And so I was like, this is absurd. I have to get over this. So as I started to meet more people, I didn't want to be as nervous as I was talking to each new person. And so I figured I needed to do something about it. I used to come to downtown a lot for church school, actually. But eventually, when I found out I was gay, I renounced my faith, so I don't go to church or anything like that anymore. Actually, the first thing my mother said when I told her I was gay was, she said she sent me to an all-boys school, and I said, don't you think it's a little counterproductive, mother? Well, she's good with it now, though, so that's fine. She's a very religious woman, so at first it hit her really hard, but then she kind of realized that, I'm still her son, and she still loves me, and so now everything's just fine. My mom likes to sneak all these religious things into my life. She puts them everywhere. I just let her do it, though. It makes her happy. She still wants me to become the Pope. She hasn't given up on that dream. Ever since I was little. She calls me Pope Abraham. She wanted me to lead the people, hence why she really wants me to be the Pope. Hence why my name is Abraham as well. So it's more about the League of Legends experience. So it used to be about how I can improve their in-game experience, but now I want to just help people who play League of Legends have better lives. And so I want them to come out of the woodworks, come to like a party, a watch party, and meet new people instead. So just different ways I can help people enjoy League of Legends experiences.
He drove us 6.5 hours away from Abilene, Texas, down here to Houston.
Yeah, MIA was awesome. Yeah, he has a hell of a personality.
There's obviously a need for this kind of stuff in Houston, and I'm going to be really happy to carry it forward, that we're going to have more events like this.
The turnout was amazing. It went really great. I'm really happy with how this turned out.